Namaskar and welcome to NFL Masala. I'm your co-host Anant.
And I am your other co-host, Rakshak. Welcome to Season 3, Episode 19. 19. Let me say that again. 19 of NFL Masala, where we talk about all the latest happenings in the NFL with a little bit of spice. And boy, do we got some spice today.
Oh my God, man. This week has been both amazing and, horrifying to see if you were some fans of some football teams.
Yep.
Cowboys. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Tonight in Days of Our Cowboys.
Tonight on Jerry Jones's slave plantation.
Tonight on Dallas, where is your Tito's vodka? If you need, don't worry. And by the way, sit tight, Dallas fans, because
it's just getting started.
You on those long nights on the road. It's a long way. Oh, and by the way, before we begin, congratulations to UT Austin for committing live murder on national television. Like, what the hell?
This OU, this, take it, shove it. This is what you get when you face Steve Sarkisian, even without Arch Manning. So next year it's going to be even more disastrous for OU. Anyways, let's get started with some NFL news. We're going to be recapping Week 6, previewing Week 7. But before that, man, do we have some Hamakadar news.
What a week of the Hamakadar news.
So many things happened this week.
Yeah.
We'll get started.
Oh, definitely. And speaking of which, I was in Philadelphia over the weekend for Columbus Day, aka Indigenous Peoples Day. Luckily for our jobs, we had Monday off, so I was able to go to Philly and watch a game. You'll get to that.
We shall get to that. But before we get to what happened with Phillies game for that Rakshak went to, the Eagles game, let's talk about another green team. One based in New Jersey, East Rutherford. And after
Is it the New Jersey Jets?
It is. You are right. Right on, sir. The New Jersey Jets are in the news, not because of Aaron Rodgers, or maybe because of Aaron Rodgers, who knows at this point, but because Davante Adams is now officially moving over to New Jersey. He will be buying a house with the Taco Bell inside of it. If you guys don't know, please research Taco Bell and Davante Adams on Twitter. You guys are going to have a grand old time. But he's going to, he's now going to the Jets. They finalized the deal with the Raiders. And what the Raiders are going to be getting in return for Davante Adams is a 2025 conditional third-round pick. Now, this pick could be moved into a second-round selection if Davante Adams is a first or second-team All-Pro this season, or if he's on the Jets' active roster for the AFC Championship game or Super Bowl. So, these are the conditions. There's like another late-round pick swap as well. But also, Davante Adams restructured his contract to lower his salary cap number this season to $3.21 million. And they added 2 void years to his to the end of his deal. And that basically means that the Jets are picking up the entirety of the remaining value of Davante Adams' contract that he signed with the Raiders. So the Raiders are basically just getting a third-round pick. That could be a second-round pick if he does well or the Jets do well. And it was interesting to see on Pat McAfee's show on Tuesday when Aaron Rodgers was there. I don't know if you caught this clip, Rakshak.
I did see that.
You did see it?
Yeah, Davante Adams just
he just sneaks into view.
So much
he's like, surprise.
Yeah,
they probably planned this out last week.
It's all scripted, bro. What did you expect?
It's all scripted. When Aaron Rodgers was like, oh my God, I was so shocked. Yeah, right.
Bullshit.
Right. BS. I
Bullshit.
call BS.
Buckos.
Yeah,
Buckos.
exactly. But yeah, he is now 32. Well, he's going to turn 32. That's not the important part. The important part is, does this solve Jets' headache? What do
I
you
don't
think?
think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think it will work out because Todd Downing being the new play caller, yes, it does help. I think we saw some improvement, which we'll get to later. But he was also a terrible coordinator when he was with the Titans. When he had Ryan Tannehill upon the Jack and Hill or whatever the crap nickname that we could think of, courtesy of Chiseled Adonis Steelers, Chiseled Adonis Steelers YouTuber. But I think like I mean, and besides, even if you had Devontae Adams, what is their wide receiver room if you think about it? You're overloading with. You're trying to rebuild the with Alan Lazard, Devontae Adams, and now you're putting Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall, and some other tight end. I don't know. How are you going to spread the ball more effectively? And if he keeps on attacking more Devontae, more like to a one favorite wide receiver, everyone's gonna be like, hey, what about me? What about me? What about me? It's gonna cause a little bit more confusion. And I still don't trust Todd Downing as a play caller. I mean, look at his track record. I believe even with the Titans, he's had losing seasons with them. I don't even need to pull up a stat from ESPN to show like this is what he did. A, B, C. Nothing like that. And it's a harsh truth. It's going to be it's just another excuse, especially with the big news of Robert Saleh getting fired last week. And you're trying to, and then again, Aaron Rodgers is going to deny it. Again, what do we call that? Buckwas, Boy Scout.
Buckwas alert.
Buckwas. We're adding that now. And you know what? Just to make it even more satisfying, it's been a while since I did this, but I am placing a curse on the New York Jets.
Why?
I don't know.
Because of Robert Saleh?
The firing for Robert Saleh, yes, he didn't do so well, but his defense improved a hell of a lot better. And I mean, like, it just shows that, like, and also, also that offensive game planning, it's like I think they kind of threw Robert Saleh under the bus. Although he is responsible for some parts, I felt like the Jets organization blew under the bus. They didn't get the right acquisitions. They didn't get a proper offensive line to help out that coaching staff. So
that's the thing.
I'm cursing. I'm officially placing a curse on the New York Jets. There are more curses, right. But
your curse is strong, so we'll see how that works.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
don't piss me off, or otherwise you get cursed.
Yes.
Lessons learned.
I'm glad you brought up the point of the offensive line because that's where I was going to go next, because Devontae Adams does not solve their offensive line issues, especially the amount of penalties that occur on the offensive line and the amount of pressures that the tackles Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses leak, the amount of sacks that they leak. It's not successful when you have a 40-year-old quarterback who is Aaron Rodgers, but still a 40-year-old quarterback recovering from an Achilles tear, who's not mobile, who has lost his mobility because of that injury and because of old age. The reason why Tampa Brady worked is because their offensive line was probably one of the best offensive lines in the past, decade. You put it up there with the Eagles and the Patriots offensive lines and the Chiefs offensive lines, right? That's where the Bucs offensive line was, especially in 2020.
Jeremy's saying this. Add the Packers offensive line too, because I've been seeing some really strong over the years.
You can add the Packers offensive line.
Don't forget about your team, boy. Don't forget about your team.
And the Lions.
Oh.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
And the Lions.
Johnson.
But yeah, regardless, needless to say, Tom Brady had the best thing going for him, which is an offensive line that will protect him no matter what, right? Will rarely let any sacks or pressures come on him. And to, Tom Brady's credit and to his nature, he doesn't play a lot of hero ball. That's Tom Brady's, best trait is that he does not play hero ball and he's efficient. But Aaron Rodgers does play hero ball, and 9 times out of 10, 8.5 times out of 10, he is effective. And he's made some miracles, as I'm going to explain in this next game. But it won't be enough for the Jets' aspiration, which is a Super Bowl. So unless they fix that offensive line, what do we always say? What is our mantra?
Build through the trenches, Namaha. Build through the trenches, Namaha. Build through the trenches, Namaha. See what I'm doing with the hand counting thing? This is what we do when we're chanting.
Yep.
We keep a count.
Yep. So they didn't, they haven't done.
They bullshitted the
best
mantra,
job.
man. They bullshitted through it.
They haven't done the best job. They got Elijah Vera Tucker, right? They got
They used
who
to
else? The Olufashanu, the recent
Olufashanu,
the recent draft pick, who they're not playing. Who I think they should be playing in instead of Tyron Smith, because if you look at the
what
depth chart right now, yeah,
are you kidding me?
Yeah, so the starting tackles, the starting offensive line is Tyron Smith, John Simpson, Joe Tipman, Elijah Vera Tucker, Morgan Moses. Joe Tipman and Elijah Vera Tucker are good. John Simpson hasn't, been stellar, but Olufashanu, the reason why he drafted him is because he is the future at the left tackle position, and he has not been playing left tackle. Instead, they've given it to Tyron Smith, who has, needless to say, been disastrous at that position. Whether it's what is it? Whether it's by oh my god, penalties or pressures. So, yeah. Anyways, let's move on.
See my face right now? Okay, moving on. So, with that being said, after that Sunday game in Philly, the Cleveland Browns are on a sale alert. They're sellers now, and a trade happened on yesterday. So the Buffalo Bills, they did acquire Amari Cooper with the Browns, and they officially have a wide receiver 1 for Josh Allen. It's about damn time. And the Bills received Cooper and a 2025 6th-round draft pick in exchange for a 2025 3rd-round pick and a 7th-round selection in 2026. I think that's actually good trades for both sides, because Bills, they finally have a number 1 wide receiver to add into their core of Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, James Cook, and in some cases, oh my goodness, I forgot who's the other guy. Oh, who's their wide receiver 3 for the Bills? I'm trying to remember this.
Shakir?
Mac Hollins.
Mac Hollins.
Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl champion Mac Hollins. But I think, like, with Cooper, he does fill that number 1 wide receiver void, because if you look at it, I was just going through the stats from ESPN. The fewest completions per game targeting wide receivers. Josh Allen is there with 8.5 completions per game. Over 3 qualifying QBs are averaging fewer completions per game when targeting wide receivers than Josh Allen. Jacoby Brissett, Will Levis, and Justin Fields in that order. And it's been the lowest mark for Josh Allen, and the last time he's done it was in his rookie year back in 2018. And I think, and I think with that, he did struggle with that Browns offense that has failed to score 20 points in each of his first 6 games. So rightfully said. And you know what his Instagram story said? Move or rust. I agree. A change in scenery works out for him. And by the way, again, Bills wide receivers, they were ranked 25th or worse in targets, receptions, receiving yards, and receiving first downs. And in order to compensate for Amari Cooper to come in, they had to cut Marquise Valdes-Scantling on Tuesday to open up a roster spot. So maybe MVS goes back to Cleveland. God damn it. Why I silently said that. and I think he could still be a lot more productive. And Josh Allen will definitely have a number one wide receiver for him ever since like Stephon Diggs left. So Bills, I think they did the right move. Cleveland to get more draft ammo to move up and down, whatever. But again, I would recommend getting a better quarterback than shithead Watson.
Yeah, yeah. Finally, all those people who stashed Amari Cooper on their fantasy drafts, on their fantasy teams, can be ecstatic knowing that he actually has a quarterback. And I just wanted to give you this one stat.
Sure.
I was listening to this on the Bootleg Football podcast. Shout out to Brett Coleman and EJ Snyder. They do a lot of good analysis from a number standpoint as well. And their football knowledge is insane. And they were telling me, they were telling the listeners that Deshaun Watson is so bad. Out of 600 quarterbacks since the year 2000, so in basically 25 years, he is, or not 600, 592 quarterbacks. His EPA per play is ranked 590th.
Damn. Is
He is so
Tim Couch or
bad.
what?
Huh?
Is he behind Tim Couch?
I don't know. He's so bad. His EPA per play is third worst in 25 years.
Woo! That is trash.
And people are saying, "Oh, Amari Cooper has a drop problem." Dude, who do you think he's playing with? The man that the Bryce Young has a better EPA per play than Deshaun Watson.
Oh
Bryce Young does.
Bryce
Come on, guys. Amari Cooper is going to go off now. He's going to be like, 1,200 yards of receiving in the next 12 games.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so that's done. Now let's move on to another bit of news. And this is Aleem McNeil. So he is a D tackle for the Lions. He recently signed a 4-year deal. He just signed a 4-year deal worth $97 million, $55 million guaranteed. And this is really good because he had 6 pressures in week 6 against the Cowboys, second most in his entire career, and 4 against Zach Martin across 8 matchups. So half the time he was facing Zach Martin, he pressured Dak Prescott, which means he won that pass rep. So this is really good move for the Lions, especially since what happened in this past game with their pass rush. And what we're going to talk about in a little bit.
Oh, Scooby snacks.
They need Aleem McNeil to be a fantastic interior pass rush presence. And he is. So that's good for the Lions. I fucking hate it because it's good for the Lions. It's not good for anybody else. Yep, that's it for me. I don't want to talk about it more.
And last bit of news today. So basically, we have some breaking news from Steelers country, and it cut. Oh God, I don't.
No, we don't need him.
What's going on, Steelers country? This is Russell Wilson right here. As you know, my boys from ESPN, they always rooting out for me for Steelers country. Let's weld. You know that I just took first team reps on Wednesday. Been doing pretty good, and my left tackle Dan Moore. Give a shout out to that boy. Holla at your boy, just like my wife Sierra, baby. He's been out there for the past few weeks. Good to get him for some first reps. I love my man Justin Fields for taking over, having a 4-2 record, but now it's time. It's time for me to cook. It's time for Steelers country to weld, baby. Let's get to number 7. Steelers country, let's weld. Oh God. Okay, I don't know what the hell just happened, man. I think this was on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
This is honestly on purpose. Like, any news about Russell Wilson, the spirit of Russell Wilson and Steelers country just takes over, man. I just don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and I just don't like it, but I have a feeling he may take over as the starter for this upcoming game, which I do not want. I'd rather keep with Justin Fields because he's been doing pretty well, although he cannot throw downfield. And Abhishek has made some facts about it. But you know what? Whatever Fields is doing, this is the personification of Steelers football.
Yeah, he's
Bullshit.
being efficient. He's not turning over the football. He has Dan Orlovsky did a great breakdown on Justin Fields versus Russell Wilson today on the NFL Live show, either on the NFL Live or Get Up, one of those shows. And he was talking about hidden yardage. And so during the Raiders game, he showed up multiple examples of where if it was Russell Wilson, the negative play would have been a massive negative play because Russell Wilson, A, doesn't have the mobility of Justin Fields, B, doesn't have the pass rush awareness of Justin Fields, and C, is known to have taken a lot of sacks in his career, right? Along with Justin Fields, but Justin Fields is more adept at getting away with it. So point A really matters the most. And he was showing so many instances of where like Justin Fields has like a pressure or a guy in his face ready to sack him for 7 yards, and he scoots out and he runs for like 8 yards. Or, Justin Fields is getting pressured from the edge and he's about to be taken down for like a 10-yard sack. And then he, gets to the line of scrimmage and he throws for a 25-yard gain, right? Those type of plays are not made by Russell Wilson. So to me, it is unfathomable as to why Justin Fields is being benched right now. It is loser mentality for the Steelers, and they will not win without Justin Fields.
Yeah.
They're not going to score 30 points with Russell Wilson.
Yep, and then we'll be going back to Urinating Tree's favorite videos of Days of Our Steelers if you start Russell Wilson. So listen to us if the Steelers want to go to the Super Bowl.
Exactly. All right, last bit of news. This is regarding one Mr. Tom Brady.
Oh, God. What did he do?
He has now been officially allowed to be a minority owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. He was officially welcomed by Mark Davis, the owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, and with Brady now going to be in as a minority owner for the Raiders, he now has a lot of broadcasting restrictions. For example, he is not permitted to be in another team's facility. He is not permitted to witness practice. He is not permitted to attend broadcast production meetings, either in person or virtually. He is prohibited from publicly criticizing game officials and other clubs. He is subject to the NFL's gambling policy, and he's also subject to the NFL's anti-tampering policy. So basically, what does Tom Brady broadcast commentate about?
I have no idea.
So he basically stole $300 million from Fox and said, okay, I'm going to be a part owner of the Raiders. That's my conspiracy theory.
I don't know what to say about that because apparently it's all coming true. I'm like, he's restricted himself more and more.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because he already got the contract.
So
it doesn't matter how he does, because then Fox is not going to be like, oh, we're not going to take him down, because they're going to lose a ton of money if they do take him down. So it just basically means that Greg Olsen was shafted for no reason.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
That's the worst part. He was actually becoming good. He was one of my favorites last year. Now, besides the whole Thanksgiving thing that he did with the Packers, but regardless of that, he was still, better. Well, not better than Tom Brady, but he was more beloved than Tom Brady so far.
Oh, I thought he did well, great. He did better as an analyst. I mean, Tom Brady, he's just there as a mouthpiece just for his Let's Effing Go podcast. And the LFG award, are you freaking kidding me? So lame as hell. Lame.
But like the sad thing, the thing is, like, Brady was actually improving in the previous games. I think he commentated on your game. Eagles and Browns. Or was that
No, I think it was with America's game being the Lions versus the Cowboys.
that was on? Okay,
It's on Fox.
but yeah, but yeah, no, he was improving, but now he can't really talk about anything.
He can't talk
Whenever
about
anything
anything
happens,
now.
yeah, whenever anything happens to another team, he has to be um
Non-biased.
well, no, he can't be non-biased. He has to be apathetic or not even criticize. So you have to praise something or just not say anything about it, which is going to make viewing those games suck even more. I don't know. I don't get like this. This is just I mean, it's a fantastic business move from Tom Brady because he basically got free money.
Yeah.
He had an income and he invested it into ownership for the Raiders, which will inevitably increase because all clubs' valuations, even the Panthers, have increased in the past, 5 years. So, yeah, that's all right. All right, so that's it for the Mark of our news. Let's move on to the Week 6 recap. All right, Packers versus Cardinals. This is the game that I've been waiting for, that all Packers fans have been waiting for. It was a clinical victory. It is the best Jordan Love has looked all year, and I want everybody to forget about that interception because it was Bo Melton's fault because he slipped. All right, that's all we need to say about it. That's all we need to talk about it. We don't need to talk about it anymore. He just threw for 4 touchdown passes, okay? That's it. Forget about the interception. It was a balanced offense at its best. 250 pass yards, 179 rushing yards, and 4 passing touchdowns. That's as balanced as you can get without getting, 1-to-1, Raven style, right? Or even the opposite. So there are a couple people that I want to give a shout out to. One, obviously Jordan Love. Okay, there's just no two ways to say about it. He is the guy. He was always the guy at the end of last year. That's why he got paid. But now he's basically Brett Favre. He's basically Brett Favre without all the accolades just yet, but he plays like Brett Favre. Okay, not just stats wise. Even though we can talk about his stats. He had the highest EPA this entire week at 19.3 points, which means he himself added almost 20 of the 34 points that we got, okay? Because of just him. 6 out of 9 for 63 yards and 3 touchdowns on third down. On third down. Perfect passer rating, 158.3. On third down. Okay? Second in the league in terms of total passing touchdowns with 12. That too, he missed 2 games because of injury. He's the first quarterback in Packers history since Brett Favre in 1995 to throw for back-to-back 4 touchdown games. Aaron Rodgers couldn't do it. In his 15-year career with the Packers, he could not throw back-to-back for 4 touchdowns. Jordan Love has done it in his second starting season. All right. So it's not just his stats, but his risk-taking willingness and the sheer will to force the ball through just impossible throws, several of which were Masala moment of the week candidates, had it not been for another one that I'm going to talk about later. I want to show a couple of these. Okay? Let's just dissect this. Okay? This is probably one of my favorite throws the entire season from Jordan Love. And that's saying a lot considering Jordan Love has had plenty of memorable throws. All right. So it looks like he's in 5-man protection, empty backfield. So that means there's no running back. Right. Now just watch as he veers away and off his full stride. right? Off his full with his actually, how many hitches is that? This is also great pass protection. So that's 1 hitch, 2, 3, 4. So on his 4th hitch, waiting for the cross to come in, just look at that throw in between 3 white jerseys. Christian Watson just gets the catch, pinpoint accuracy.
Ball
And
placement.
I think that there should have been another angle for this. Yeah, just like layers over the linebacker perfectly into the breadbasket of Christian Watson, makes it a massive gain of about 20 yards. And it's like, what? How?
Yeah.
That's what he does.
That's
What
just
and how are the question marks that you get when watching Jordan Love? That's
just a
exactly Brett Favre.
beautiful. I want to say this as you go back to that play. Think about and try if you can magnify the screen for a bit, because I don't know if people notice it. As you're going back to the play, he's stepping, looking back. He is calm and present. He's going through his progressions quickly. That is what a professional quarterback does. 1, 2, 3. Knows, okay, I know this guy. Boom. Go back a little bit more, like 2, 3 seconds. Play. There. In the middle. That is great communication between the wide receiver and the quarterback. Knowing that his route is going to end right there. That's my to-go person. In between 3 Arizona defenders, especially I think like Arizona was playing a bit of zone. This is what the Packers did properly, attacking that middle of the zone coverage. I know it's some bullshit Jonathan Gannon zone defense. I know that perfectly too damn well, and Packers just exploited it.
Exactly. Right on, good sir.
Beautiful.
Right on.
It was just beautiful.
As always, Rakshak, accurate with all of our analyses. Thank you for that. And then the second throw that I want to share with everyone. This is even more ridiculous. All right. I don't think there's even an adjective to describe this. All right. Now let's just watch how it unfolds. He has a free rusher, edge rusher right here. Okay. And it looks like it's a blitzing situation because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players blitzing, and you only have a 6-man protection. So you're going to have 1 free edge rusher right here. And it looks like Jordan Love is surprised because he immediately sees him, and he didn't expect him to come that way. Maybe, and I saw this breakdown from the QB school, JT O'Sullivan, and he was explaining how probably the pass protection here was to slide left and pick up these guys, and they just didn't expect this guy to come in as an edge rusher, coming in from that wide 9 stance, almost like slot corner stance, like that's how far he was. So they didn't expect him to be the edge rusher, and you could see clearly just how Jordan Love just bails from the pocket and tries to get rid of the football. And this is probably the craziest, most athletic throw that you can see from Jordan Love, probably in his entire career. I don't know. He's made at least a dozen of these type of throws.
I want to try and take a guess from there. I think he targets the one wide receiver being the one wide receiver in the middle. That's my money bet.
Here?
I think that's where I'm going with. Before
watch.
He throws it deep? Oh my God. Oh,
you see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking about? It's ridiculous. How does he make that off his back foot? Just floats with pinpoint accuracy to the pylon, the front pylon, where only his receiver gets a chance, or it goes out of bounds, like right there. And credit to Romeo Doubs. He sees the ball coming in, like right there, right? He sees the ball coming in right there.
Oh my!
Even the corner notices, right? But Romeo Dobbs makes an incredible adjustment. Credit to him, because this is like 60% Jordan Love, 40% Romeo Dobbs. Makes the great adjustment and just finishes it off right there for the touchdown.
Mhm.
That's I did what? How? Exactly.
How?
What? How? What? How? That's Jordan Love for you guys. That's Brett Favre. That's Jordan Love. Speaking of Romeo, I want to give another shout out to him. First game back from his holdouts, from his suspension. We still don't know what the issue was, but it seemed like it was a very big issue on his mental health. Some personal issue was going on. We don't know the full details, and we have no right to know. So all you Packers fans who are, clowning on Romeo Dobbs, suck on it, because he got 3 receptions for 4 targets of 49 yards and 2 touchdowns. Both of them were insane adjustments and finishes. The first one was a brilliant out route from like the 5-yard line, and Jordan Love laces it perfectly with touch right into the breadbasket of Romeo Dobbs, and Romeo Dobbs is like 2 feet away from the from going out of bounds, and he makes the adjustment to stop and stick the ball through the end zone to score a touchdown. So both of them were brilliant adjustments and finishes by Romeo Dobbs. And the best thing that happened this game was everybody hugged him when he caught his first touchdown. So to all those bastards who wanted him gone, there, take it. Especially the ESPN Milwaukee radio station morons. Go jump into Lake Michigan. Do us all a favor, go jump into Lake Michigan. We don't need your services.
Or I'm a quote from Dave Chappelle's Prince, the Prince skit, go bathe in the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
There you go. There you go. All right. Final offensive player shout out.
Off, man. You are going off.
No, because a lot of people were like, oh, Romeo Dobbs, he's such a selfish dude. He's so bad. He shouldn't have done this. Well, the thing is, we never know what actually happens off the field in these type of situations. So we can't make an accurate assumption, and we can't, chastise somebody because of that without knowing all the facts. So that's what I hate. And you see that the entire team loves him, so why can't you? Right?
Mm.
Right? All right. Last player, Christian Watson from the offense. First game back from his injury, fantastic. 3 catches, 4 attempts, 4 targets, 68 yards, and a touchdown, with one of them being a beautiful 44-yard post route, turning Buda Baker into burnt toast on a play action post shot from Jordan Love. So, yeah, I suggest for you guys who love offenses and passing offense specifically, please watch the highlights. It is fantastic. Now, last shout out. This is on the defense.
Oh.
Evan Williams, man. The best draft pick for Goody this year. And that's including Javon Bullard. Do you know why?
Why?
He is the second highest graded safety among all safeties by PFF. He is second only to Xavier McKinney this year.
Now I was thinking, why aren't you shouting out Xavier McKinney?
He's also the part because Xavier. I'll talk about this in a little bit, but also because he is part of the safety duo that is ranked number 1 by PFF with Xavier McKinney. So, Evan Williams, 4th round pick. A lot of people passed up on him. Evan Williams has been fantastic in the games that he's played. And this one, he had a Peanut Tillman style forced fumble, like straight literal punched the football right out of the inside arm of the wide receiver holding the football. Nobody holds it on their outside arm anymore. They hold it on the inside arm and straight punches right through and causes a forced fumble, which we recover. 1 tackle for loss, and that tackle for loss was key because it was a 3rd down stop to tackle one of the most elusive quarterbacks in history, Kyler Murray, on a 3rd and 1. It is literally one-on-one with him and Kyler, and he makes the best adjustment you can make. You can ask for a strong safety, a rookie strong safety facing Kyler Murray on a 1-yard play. Perfect tackle for loss. Completely shut down the other receivers. And he reminds me of another guy who wore number 33 for the Packers. Stop me if you remember this name. Micah Hyde.
Micah Hyde, who used to play with the Bills?
Yeah, he does. But remember, he used to play with the Packers.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yeah, he was drafted by the Packers, played for 4 years from 2013 to 2017 before he went to Buffalo.
I knew Micah Hyde more because he was with the Bills because of like his tenure there. I didn't know he was a Packer then, but
He was one of our best safeties.
oh
Yeah.
no, I know.
So yeah, Evan Williams, man, he's just. I don't have. It's fantastic. If we just want to look at completion percentage, he only allowed like 1 completion on 1 target, but that was for 9 yards. So they didn't really do, there wasn't anything that he could have done. But other than that, just fantastic. Fantastic from the defense. They sufficiently shut down the Cardinals, right? The secondary has been fantastic. We know that 17 takeaways, and 17 interceptions, and like multiple other takeaways. This game they allowed only 13 points, which is really good. And this past week, they were the best pass defense on what I call money downs or 3rd and 4th downs. Right, because that's when you have to actually move the ball and progress drives, right? So on money downs, especially in the second half, they were the best pass defense. 3 straight drives ending in fumbles, all recovered. The last 3 drives of the Cardinals were all fumbles that we forced and recovered by different people. It wasn't like the same guy. It's not like TJ Watt causing 3 fumbles, right? It is all different people causing fumbles and recovering them. Look at this, right? If we want to look at, so who forced the fumbles? Evan Williams, Carl Brooks, and he recovered his own fumble. Kenny Clark recovered 1, and Jair Alexander recovered 1. So, yeah, it's
brilliant.
Really good. So, yeah, really good performance from the Packers defense, including a decent pass rush. Rashawn Gary finally showed up on the stat sheet with 3 pressures per PFF. Colby Wooden with 2, Kenny Clark with 2, and Quay Walker, TJ Slayton, and Preston Smith with 1 pressure each. Now, the problem is sacking Kyler Murray is very difficult. He's one of probably the most elusive, quarterback we've seen in a long time. So there were 0 sacks on him. But there was 1 QB hit and a couple of tackles for loss. So it wasn't like the best pass rush, but they got some decent pass rush, especially on 3rd downs, which is what allowed us to be the best pass defense this past week on money downs. So it was because of this pass rush, they were not able to convert drives. The Cardinals were not able to convert drives, and that's why they just got down. And that's why it was 34-13, because they couldn't convert on 3rd down. So those are all the good things. Now, the bad thing is Narvison. Braden Narvison has missed 5 kicks in 7 attempts, with another miss inside the 50-yard line this game. And that's why he has officially gotten cut. And we have now signed Brandon McManus to a 1-year deal, vet minimum. Yes, there are a lot of off-the-field issues with Brandon McManus. He has been several civil lawsuits against him for sexual assault. So there is that. His lawyer has mentioned that the issue has been resolved and they're moving forward. Now, the reason why I am not out and out raising pitchforks against Brandon McManus is because I trust the Packers organization and their vetting process. They are not the Browns.
Yeah.
They're not evil. They are not, they weren't the Commanders with Dan Snyder. The Packers are one of the most conservative organizations in terms of hiring, not conservative, the most consistent organizations in terms of hiring high character people. So if they have deemed Brandon McManus worthy of being signed, I'm more inclined to believe them. Now, it could also be a desperation move because we need a kicker and there's nobody available and we don't want to trade draft picks for a kicker when we could just draft another kicker at the end of this year. So I think it's like a 40% desperation move, but 60% like the Packers have done the research on Brandon McManus and they're comfortable with all the off the field stuff, whether it's real or whether it's whether the impact is true or not. So I trust them. And the thing is, as fans, you can't really know. So yeah. All right, let's move on. And the worst part of this game was that Xavier McKinney's pick streak ended. There was no Xavier McKinney pick. We were like, no, at least can we convert one of the fumbles for a pick, please? But no, Kyler Murray was too safe, and Xavier McKinney's pick streak ended with 5 picks in 5 games for the Packers.
Don't worry about it. He's gonna get he's just gonna get a streak back.
I hope so. Against CJ Stroud this upcoming week. That's gonna be fun.
I think you already know a blueprint. I think there may be a blueprint on how to beat the Texans, and you'll get to that soon. But I have a feeling, even if you're a great QB, you are bound to open up your bakery of tasty turnovers.
All right. Last but not least, the NFC North, best division in the league. Every team has 4+ wins for the first time since 1970.
Ooh.
And the top 4 teams in terms of point differential, all in the NFC North. Is literally the 4 best teams are in the NFC North. It is the best division.
Nice.
So just a shout out. That's it for me.
All right. So with that being said, we got to talk about this weekend, Eagles fans. And first of all, I was in Philadelphia for the weekend. And I want to give a special shout out to the 4th and John podcast for another dope tailgate. So if anyone goes for an Eagles home game, Lot G2, I recommend that. I got shout out to Gail Saunders, Evan Hollywood Hearn, who makes cheesesteaks, but I don't eat them anyway because I'm vegetarian, and Prime and Primo, and also DJ Lowski, because I actually got into a dance battle. I started some dancing, and then impromptu, I actually got into a breaking cipher with someone with a random breaker. It was a lot of fun. Of course, I got my ass kicked, but it was great. And of course, it was always great watching an Eagles home game, especially from almost like identically the same seat, and seeing live on how the plays calling then to see what happened. And Nick Sirianni apparently shaved his head. And I'm like, oh God, what is he going to do now? Yeah, the Eagles got the win. They won 20-16 against the fucking Cleveland Browns, but it was super ugly and inconsistent. You thought there would be improvements from the bye, but guess what, Anand? I thought I was in Pennsylvania, but no. You know where I was, Anand? My favorite country in the world. Guess what that is?
North Korea.
I was in Philadelphia, the capital city of North Korea. The North Korean offense was on point in living color.
Mhm.
Should I go through the same motions again, man? Because like honestly, this is the same shit that Eagles fans have been going through since the collapse of last year and all of that. I mean, same old tune, same old drum, same old hole. Not using the run game a lot. His hand play calling by Nick Sirianni. No points in the first quarter again. Are you freaking kidding me? I mean, but what I could say is this.
Nick
Welcome back.
Sirianni's the clown.
Nick Sirianni is a North Korean agent. I mean, yes, but people want to know why I'm using North Korea a lot. I mean, courtesy of this YouTuber named Awful Coaching, who does basketball breakdowns, and he says, and in some of his titles, like this defense is the reason why. Some titles are like, this is this game, this type of defense is the reason why I'll never have kids. This is the reason why we live in North Korea. This is the reason why we believe in nepotism, gambling, and North Korean style of playing. I mean, I don't blame the dude because I saw the same bullshit too. We wanted adjustments. I'm like, please let Kellen Moore take over the play calling. But no. And I mean, I will say this. There were a lot of good things that I want to talk about because I don't want to talk about the shit because I know the rest of the game was shit in my point of view. And I was watching it and I was yelling, way to go, Nick Sirianni, for North Korean level types. And people were agreeing with me. I almost started a North Korea Nick chant in the link. You know, Eagles fans, we could be super passionate, we could be emotional, but we call what we see. Whether we like it or we not. One thing I can say, Jalen Hurts, he didn't turn over the ball. He didn't turn over the ball so I could celebrate. Hallelujah.
Great job. Jalen Hurts, MVP there, buddy. MVP. He didn't turn over the ball.
He didn't turn over the ball because what I saw, like, I mean, of course, inconsistency in the throwing. I didn't get some of the directions, but he was solid in the first half. He was 9 for 16, 137 yards and 1 touchdown. And 1 touchdown, by the way, welcome back, Mr. AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, baby. Did you know over the past couple of games, when AJ Brown and Devontae Smith are healthy and they're starting, Eagles are 8-0 from what I see.
Wow.
I think that's the record. I'm not sure, but they have a winning record. For winning percentage with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. And, of course, Jalen Hurts finished 16 for 25, 264 yards and 2 touchdowns. And I wanted to get on some things. Like A.J. Brown, having him back on that offense, holy crap, was so good to see. 3 for 3 in contested catch situations, some over Greg Newsome or Martin Emerson. And Cam Jurgens, center, 19.0 pass block grade, but also allowed 0 pressures. This is all from Shane Half of the Eagles Pinpool Network and Bleeding Green Nation. Jordan Mailata, left tackle side, allowed 0 pressures and 22 pass blocking snaps. But however, I did see an injury at the game. He did hurt his hamstring. He was carted away, but luckily he has a hamstring injury, but he's going to be out for a couple of games. So Fred Johnson had to take over, and he held up on his own against Myles Garrett. And I was, and I think like, and there were a couple of plays that I want to talk about for sure. Jalen Hurts passing, and let me share my screen on this one. I almost hit the end button, end call button. But yes, Jalen Hurts, his passing chart over the Browns. So he had a time of like 2.94 seconds, average depth of target of 10 yards. So basically, easily a first down. And the completion was of expectation point plus 3.8. Also generated 0.37 EPA per play. Anand, please explain to the general listeners of what that is.
Yeah, so EPA per play is a metric designed to categorize a person's explosiveness and efficiency in one metric on a down-to-down basis. It's a very complicated statistic. They combine like for every they assign points for every first down, second down, third down conversion, touchdown, field goal, and they assign points to that. And basically every play is measured on that point scale. So and it's an average of that.
Definitely. And if you wanted to take a look at a little bit more of next gen stats, 2 of his touchdowns, 1 to Devontae Smith, 1 to AJ Brown. I want to talk about the Devontae Smith because I thought this was a Kellen Moore type of offense that we've been wanting to see. And of course, some of his depth of targets, I didn't get some of the long shots that he took in the first couple of plays in the drive. I mean, but what I was really impressed with Hurts is that he was able to pass the ball effectively. And a big stat, he was blitzed 53.6%. Yes, we were facing an old friend in Jim Schwartz, former Eagles defensive coordinator who helped us win that Super Bowl. Jim Schwartz his type of defense is almost like a 4-3, and he'll take away what you're good at and force you to pass. And they did shut down the run game for the Eagles. They shut them down to like 100 total rushing yards. Saquon Barkley's worst game was 48 rushing yards out of 11 or 18 rushing attempts. But yeah, Hurts was blitzed 53.6% of his dropbacks. And guess what, Anand? He was 6 for 12 out of 105 yards and 2 touchdowns. So up against the blitz, not bad, I guess. Some improvement. That's all I could say. And and of course, when we talk about my boy AJ Brown, you want to know how good AJ Brown was? I saw him make those big catches, 6 receptions, 117 yards, and 1 touchdown. And of course, Devontae Smith coming back together, nice 3 receptions, 64 yards, 1 touchdown. But I want to talk about this play, which I am going to bring up. Are you ready, my good friend? Because we got to talk about this one. 1 second. All right. So here's the play. This is somewhat. So we basically have 2 wide receivers on our left. Jalen Hurts is in shotgun formation, and apparently the reason why, and Kellen Moore said this in his press conference. I don't know if you agree with this, but Hurts is not. They say like he wants to see Hurts a little bit more in shotgun formation because he's more effective there as a runner. I don't agree with that, but okay. So Hurts takes the ball, hikes it. Now, as you're seeing, as we're seeing this play develop, see what's happening. Jack Stoll, he's diverting that play, almost like a bit of a pick. Guess who's wide right there? I'm gonna scroll back the play. So, see, Devontae Smith is in there. AJ Brown, he's gonna run a bit of a post. So, see what's happening. This is a proper mesh route concept. So, as Devontae Smith is going towards his right,
he's open on that shallow cross.
Opens out that shallow. And guess what? The tight end's right there. He recognizes that, and guess what he does? This is excellent awareness by Grant Calcaterra. Makes the block, bit of a mini block, because you do not want that penalty. And I saw this live. I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing, Hurts? And then when I saw that play, it's like, oh, this is so brilliant. And the fact that the Eagles did this process of and I think I figured out what the type of play that Jalen Hurts needs to do in order to be more successful, like, and not throw a bunch of interceptions. The dink and dunk, death by 1,000 paper cuts. And of course, we have to talk about what, and I thought this had to be a Masala moment of the game candidate. You kind of recognize where I'm going to go with this. I'm almost done with offense, by the way. And look at, oh, whoops, wrong window. Wrong window. There it is. So here's what it is. You have two wide receivers again. Jalen Hurts, shotgun. This is at the Eagles 47, 2nd and 11, 2 minutes ago. Recognize this. If I were the Eagles, I would have ran the ball because the Browns have no timeouts left, and you could just easily burn clock. And apparently, Jalen Hurts recognized that, and he checked to A.J. Brown during the game on this one. So he notices this. He's looking at it. He's like, okay, I'm going to this guy. So hikes the ball. Jalen Hurts just throws it. A.J. Brown, shoulder catch. All right.
Beautiful deep throw.
Okay. So I think you being a better expert on this one, tell me what we're seeing from this side. So pocket protection, throws it. This is what we want to see more of Hurts doing. Releasing the ball, going through your quick projections, release it early. You don't need to wait for more than 3 or 4 seconds. That is when defenses are able to adjust and say, we found ourselves.
Also, he needs to have the answers available, right? If his offensive scheme doesn't provide the answers available in a quick manner, then he's going to have to hold on to the ball.
Yeah. And look, and look at this, Anna. I think you're gonna be you gotta admire this. A.J. Brown. How much did we miss that man?
A lot, because you guys don't have anybody else besides A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Y'all have none. Nothing.
And I'll get to some parts. And of course, we did see Dallas Goedert get out. He is apparently day-to-day with a hamstring injury. And I did not expect Grant Calcaterra. I did not expect an SMU Grant Calcaterra game. By the way, 4 catches, 4 receptions, 67 yards. And I did see some good plays. He was able to gain some of that yak ability. And Jahan Dotson, I saw a sighting from Jahan Dotson and a shovel play, which was apparently a run. I was like, come on, give him a completion.
Romeo Dobbs clears Jahan Dotson.
I mean, that's fine because they use him properly. And Jahan Dotson, I'm like, come on. But yeah, poor day for Saquon Barkley. But yeah, I mean, Jordan Mailata going down. Yeah, not good at all. But we have to talk about this one. We got to talk about the play calling again, which is why I said, like, why we live in North Korea. This is, you know what I'm referring to. This is before the second half, before halftime, Eagles are getting the ball. It's basically a 2-minute offense. And they're like running, they're driving close to the first half. Good 9-yard gain on a pass play from Hurts to Brown. And then 2nd and 1. Hurts, he throws it past to Saquon Barkley. I thought he got the first down, but he steps out of bounds. I thought he almost got the first down, but he stepped out of bounds. And then 3rd and 1, you call a timeout after wasting almost 30 seconds. And then when you know that there's a blitz coming in, you could have ran a tush push, but no, you go 4 verticals as a hot route, and like, yeah, they could just brotherly shove it on a 4th and 1. But guess what? You let a Browns free run linebacker Jeremiah Owusu Koromoa to come on a free blitz, and Barkley whiffs on the blitz pickup, and Hurts gets sacked. And oh my God, 4th and 9. For a 57-yard field goal by Jake Elliott. Worst decision ever. You could have punted it, but you try and get the points by the end of the first half to make it 3-13, knowing fully well that Jake Elliott hasn't been good so far. He kicks it he tries to kick it, but guess what? Myles Garrett blocks it, and ex-Eagle Rodney McLeod recovers it, runs it all the way for a touchdown. I was livid at the play calling. And I mean, it was bad. It was so bad. And yeah, I hated it. But moving on. Eagles defense against the Browns offense. So Eagles defense, they did what they needed to do against a very bad Browns offense because Deshaun Watson is ass. He is ass. Big time. I mean, he is bad and he sucks. And again, I wanted to give a credit to Vic Fangio for putting Cooper DeJean as the starting nickel corner role over Avonte Maddox. He had 6 tackles and he blitzed and he got on a blitz with blitzing Deshaun Watson for a half a sack along with Maro Ojomo. Congratulations to you, my man. And Quinyon Mitchell, he almost had a pick. He almost did, but no, I saw Chauncey Gardner-Johnson run into him, and it became an incompletion. But the way the rookies, but the way that the rookie corners played, Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, combined against the Browns, especially like against Amari Cooper and Jerry Jeudy. I mean, and sometimes Elijah Moore. They only allowed eight. They were targeted 8 times altogether. Only 3 catches for 23 yards allowed. 0 first downs. 45.8 passer rating. Cooper DeJean, he forced 2 sacks. Technically, didn't allow a single first down. 6 tackles, including a big hit to keep Elijah Moore out of the end zone, and contributed well in punt return. And by the way, this Eagles defense did not allow a single touchdown. They only allowed 9 points, 9 field goals, other than that Rodney McLeod thing. But I mean, first half, the Eagles defense was doing really good because the Browns only had 71 yards of total offense, averaging 3 yards per play, 6 first downs. Deshaun Watson was 5 for 11, 46 yards, and he was sacked 3 times. But then again, you allowed Deshaun Watson to complete his first third down completion after having him go 0 and 25. And there were some cases in which I was very questionable on why Fangio resolved into a zone type of defense, which and missed tackles. Nakobe Dean, what the hell was that? Missing a tackle on Deshaun Watson's run for a first down? Are you fucking kidding me, man? You just can't do that. And special teams, other than that Jake Elliott whiff, I really felt that, again, this Eagles defense did what they needed to do, but the offense, again, they're letting too many points away from the board. Like, they had the ability to put up a 30-burger, 40-burger, to show some improvement in the bye, yet they didn't. I just don't get it. Don't worry, man. I'm just venting on my frustrations on the offense, but the defense held on their own. And my boy Cooper DeJean, he and Moro Ojomo from UT Austin, by the way, they combined on a sack. And Cooper DeJean, I didn't see this from Vic Fangio, bro, but Cooper DeJean comes. I didn't see, like, Cooper DeJean was lined up in a nickel position, which, I mean, I have to show this to you because I thought we would not see like a corner blitz, right?
Mm-hmm.
A corner blitz, but it was beautifully done. Check it out. So they're in position. Cooper DeJean's right there because I saw it from like one of the angles. He's like faking right there. Guys motion, boom, free runner, and then Maro Ojomo comes in, then DeJean helps out. One of the very first plays of that Browns drive. Well done, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Browns offensive line is just depressing to watch. That entire offense is just depressing to watch.
Ojomo, guys, and then DeJean finishes up with the sack. And apparently it was ruled an incompletion, but then Nick Sirianni, I saw, walks up, down, throws the flag in front of them. for the challenge. I think that was good. And then at the end of the game, we got to talk about it. I didn't notice until now. I think again we were like just saying things like fired Nick, and I'm like, yeah, I did my post game reaction with with Rico of the Swoop Boys podcast. Shout out to them. But I saw Nick Sirianni jawing at the fans after 49 seconds after that crazy AJ Brown first down. But why? Why do you do
He's
this?
a clown. He's an insecure little child, man-child clown.
He's a North Korean agent.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? In the press conference, he's tried to defend it by bringing his kids with him in the post-game conference. Are you kidding me?
Bro,
And
that's
then
just
that following
dumb,
day,
man.
he had to apologize. I don't get it, man. Why? I'm just counting down the day that he gets his ass fired, man.
Mm-hmm.
We're literally, I feel like I think this is the epitome of Eagles football. I think I'm going to be going through North Korean offense again, and it's going to be the death of me, bro. It literally is going to be the death of me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I'm going to handle this, but the only way the Eagles are winning games is because of that stupid high-end talent. Literally.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I saw this live. How can I trust this team?
It's gonna be interesting. Alrighty, let's get started. That wraps up our games. Now we're going to run through everything else now because we are running out of time.
And one more thing I want to say, shout out to Brandon Graham for his 200th career game as an Eagle. And he did get a sack, and he did get the game ball. Rightfully so. Not you, fucking North Korea, Nick Sirianni.
All right.
Go settle with Comrade Kim in Pyongyang, motherfucker.
Oh my God. All righty. Let's move on with what happened in the other games of week 6, our Masala games of the week. Starting with mine, I know I did not do the week 6 preview episode, but I did select the Bills versus the Jets as my Masala game of the week because of Aaron Rodgers. And because of Aaron Rodgers, the Jets are the epitome of dysfunction because they need Aaron Rodgers' miracles to be alive because they just can't sustain a successful and efficient, consistent offense for shit. They're 17th in rush EPA on first and second downs because they can't run the football behind their weak-ass offensive line on first and second downs, which means they have to throw on first and second downs, which means it relies a lot more on Aaron Rodgers making explosive plays either in the pass game or Breece Hall making explosive plays in the run game. And it's just so inconsistent to see the to see the Jets like this because they were supposed to be a quarterback away, but they're not. They're an offensive line and good offensive coordinator away from actually contending in anything. And like we mentioned in the Devontae Adams, the Makadar news segment, I don't think that's going to solve anything. Now, on paper, their run game was really good. Breece Hall had 18 carries for 113 yards, but along of 42 yards. So it wasn't really the most consistent running game. And that's the issue, is they can't run consistently. They can't pass consistently because they don't have an offensive line that performs consistently. And that's the biggest issue for the Jets offense. It's 3 sacks, multiple pressures allowed. Tyron Smith looked lost. Okay. He just looked lost in this game. 3 pressures, 2 sacks, and 1 QB hit allowed, along with numerous penalties, which I will get to in a little bit. If we just wanted to take a look at the amount of pressures that was allowed by the Jets offensive line here, let's dig into they don't have the advanced metrics. Okay. So, yeah, it's just a a lot of pressure is allowed, and it's just unfathomable to think that Aaron Rodgers is going to be successful at a fantastic caliber, at a clip that the Jets need behind this offensive line, which I thought was going to be at least decent, average. It's not even average, right? And surprisingly, their previously great defense under Robert Saleh completely fell on their face. 5th worst overall EPA per play this game, 6th worst pass, and 5th worst rushing EPA per play this past game. And with all of that being said, with all the O-line issues, penalty issues, which I'm going to get into, with all the inconsistent running, they were still within 1 field goal game
Oh my
of
God.
winning because Aaron Rodgers made things happen. Basically, that means he targeted Allen, Lazard, and Garrett Wilson. They had a 17-6 target share percentage. So ratio. They had 17 targets combined, and all the other players had a total of 6 targets. So basically, he was like, okay, you two, you're getting the ball. Be prepared, right? And we know because I'm going to talk about one of the Masala moments of the week. So it was because of Aaron Rodgers that they were within 1 field goal. And unfortunately for Aaron Rodgers, the rest of the team fell apart. Thanks to Greg the Leg, who missed 2 field goals in this entire game. One which doinked in the wind.
Can I say something?
Mm-hmm.
This game, if you were field goal kickers for either Tyler Bass or Greg Zerline, I think those guys were drunk and they had a bet to see which kickers would miss.
Yeah, it's also the wind, but yeah, I like that drunk theory idea because both of them missed 2
Those
kicks.
kickers were on drunk.
So a total of 12 points was off the table because of those 2 kickers. Now, it's not like I'm saying the Jets completely capitulated. Well, they kind of did, but the Bills just proved that they're the better team. And they're going to be the winner of this division unless suddenly the Jets offensive line gets better. I mean, Joe Brady's run game was on point yet again, and it has been on point all season long. And it didn't even matter that they didn't have James Cook because Ray Davis came in, 20 carries, 97 yards. Perfect.
Ooh,
That's exactly what you need.
3 short away.
Yeah, 3 short away. But that's roughly a 5 yards per carry. And Ray Davis was just consistent. His long was like 20. That's what you need. Just
Chunks.
consistent, efficient running. Not what the Jets rushing offense was. Very equal pass distribution. Now, that will change because of Amari Cooper, but one bad thing for the Bills, even though they had equal pass distribution, Keon Coleman can't separate for shit. And we knew this in the draft. You could have had Xavier Worthy and imagine your receiving core of Worthy, Amari Cooper, Dalton Kincaid, Khalil Shakir, Curtis Samuel, James Cook, and Ray Davis.
But no. Dumbasses.
Come on. Amari Cooper would have been your perfect X receiver, number 1 alpha 1 receiver, because that's who he is. And Xavier Worthy would have been the perfect complement to Amari Cooper because if you want to try and double up on Amari Cooper, you're going to get single man-to-man coverage on either a corner or a safety on Xavier Worthy, who's going to blow past everybody and probably get you like Rashid Shaheed type touchdowns, right? Or what he's doing for the Chiefs this year. And if you somehow were able to put multiple people on both Amari Cooper and Xavier Worthy, then you have Dalton Kincaid to worry about in the middle, and Khalil Shakir in the slot, and Curtis Samuel in the slot, and James Cook out of the backfield. And not to forget Josh Allen, who runs the football so well, especially in cover 2 situations. So, I mean, You done goofed. You done goofed, Brandon Bean.
Yeah.
Anyways, Josh Allen was a clinical performance. There's nothing that we really need to talk about there. He was really good against this Jets defense. Efficient, made some good plays, necessary plays. He wasn't Superman like he tried to be against the Texans. And it was just clinical. Now, the true MVP of this game were the refs.
Oh my God.
Needless to say,
ref ball was
they
big.
deserved it. I mean, they were working so hard, man. 22 penalties accepted. Chef's kiss. Probably about 30 total penalties generated. More than 200 penalty yards. I mean, what more can you ask of the refs? I mean, this is clinical MVP performance from those pinstripes, the black and white pinstripes. They just they've captured the eyes and hearts of millions of viewers because of throwing yellow flags. And it was just a beautiful performance. So thank you, refs. Thank you for completely destroying the hope of NFL fans league-wide, countrywide, nationwide, because they've realized that all games are going to be scripted because you motherfuckers are just going to be, imposing your will.
Damn.
That's the game.
And all right, so for my Masala moment of the game, I know I didn't get to preview this, but I picked the best matchup of all, and the curse is continuing. Lions versus Cowboys. Honest, I got a question for you, man. How about them Cowboys?
Did you see Scooter Magruder quit halfway through his live stream? He was like, "Oh, I had internet issues."
I was on the train back. I was taking one of the subways, like with fellow Eagles fans, going back to my hotel. I'm like, "Oh my God, guys, I got a score of day what? Lions 17, Cowgirls 3," and they were like cheering on and on. It was the best. Oh my God. And you know what? Jerry Jones, crappy birthday to you, you old
82nd birthday, old geezer.
How is that birthday present, you overrated Palpatine? Do you want us to dig a Lazarus pit for you? No, get your ass.
No. He doesn't need a Lazarus pit because right across his office in Frisco, Texas, across the Dallas North Tollway, there's a massive pit because one of the buildings wasn't completed because the owners had financial issues. So there's a 30-foot deep pit he could just jump into. Oh, he doesn't need a Lazarus pit.
Yep. And guess what? We kind of knew this. Was happening. Rex Ryan predicted in one of the ESPN games, like, hey, this is going to be an ass kicking with the Lions. And guess what? It was not just an ass kicking. The Lions had this game. Let me please make sure if I have all the verbs done. Highlighted, circled, idolized, underlined, bold, font changed,
and
they proceeded to curb stomp the Cowboys with extreme prejudice. With extreme prejudice. That is a military term. Like that like if the president of the United States said, hey, we want this target to be taken with extreme prejudice. That means that's what the Lions did. Holy shit.
It just wasn't a beatdown. It was an extermination.
It was a curb stomping at best. The only highlights for the Cowboys were field goals. And I mean, the Lions combining with the run game and the passing. Oh my God, they were not just done. Jared Goff, 18 for 25, 315 yards, 3 touchdowns, sacked twice. He was averaging 12.6 yards per throw. Average. But the run game between David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, 143 yards of total rushing and 2 touchdowns, both of them combined. But David Montgomery breaking through. Did you see one of those plays? David Montgomery, long run,
ran through like 5 players.
I'm just in shock. And of course, the passing game of this Lions team. And Anand, ask away, baby.
How much do you like watching Amon-Ra St. Brown?
I love him when he runs routes. That is how much all hail to the sun god, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, he was not the only target. Jameson Williams. Did you see that one play? He was wide. Oh, beautiful flea flicker to Sam Laporta to start the scoring on a 52-yarder. That was incredible. And then, I mean, Tim Patrick. I didn't even hear Tim Patrick in a long time. I mean, it was pure pass distribution. I don't think there was any wide receiver in the Lions that had over 80 yards of completion, 80 yards of reception. Jameson Williams, 76 yards on a touchdown. Khalif Raymond, 73 yards. Tim Patrick, 68. Sam Laporta, 52. Sun God, 37 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs, 28. It was so bad that Allen Robinson had a target, didn't get some. Taylor Decker, who they reported as eligible, and they tried to. And the funny thing I saw was they tried to one of those hook and ladle shover pass to Penei Sewell, but it was all because of a penalty. But oh my god! And I want to talk about the Lions defense. Holy shit!
I want to share with you one link here.
Please do. Please share please enlighten everyone, man.
All right. So the Lions, okay? They tried 4 times to make creative touchdowns. A touchdown pass to Taylor Decker, a hook and ladder, as you mentioned, to Penei Sewell, let Dan Skipper run routes as a wide receiver, and the flea flicker to Sam Laporta for touchdown.
Toying with their food, man.
Look at that.
Nice in the backfield here.
Look at that, man.
Bruh.
I mean, look, just looks like a straight, under center, like,
yeah,
right? Because it's like, what, 13 personnel right here, but here's what happens. It's a fake, and there's Taylor Decker.
Oh my god. They did not take this game serious. Bruh.
There's Taylor Decker right there. One of the offensive line reported as eligible, and he couldn't hold on to the ball. All right. Now let's look at the second one. It's a toss to the outside, but it's a fake. I mean, what more can you ask? When you're up 37-9 at the end of the third quarter, and you're calling a hook and ladder to an offensive lineman, it just goes to show the amount of disrespect that the Lions had to the Cowboys. And it's just beautiful because, like you said, they were toying with their prey. They were they were, as true, they were literally a lion toying with their prey.
If you want to talk about defense, man, holy crap, was that Lions defense on point. They got to Dak Prescott 4 times. Dak Prescott's final stats, 17 for 33, 178 yards, 2 interceptions, sacked 4 times. And, of course, the Cowboys. I'm trying to find for turnover. Oh, Dallas fumbled twice.
They fumbled twice, and they threw 3 picks.
I mean, it was... And Brian Branch, you could have had him, but you didn't.
Yeah, that will always
Brian
be
Branch.
burned in
I
my
mean,
memory.
Branch. He is emerging as one of the best rookies, one of the best safeties in his second year. I
Mhm,
mean, I think like one play, he's faking the zone coverage, knowing that it's fully going well to CD Lamb.
mhm,
Instant recognition. That's what they teach you at Alabama, man.
mhm.
That's what they teach you. And of course, we got to talk about the major injury that happened. Aiden Hutchinson, the leading I think like I had him as like my nominee for defensive player of the year, but unfortunately it's probably not going to happen because yeah, Aiden Hutchinson, 3 total tackles, 1 solo, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, and 3 QB hits. I mean, the pressure was just on and on and on, but unfortunately we saw the injury as he was trying to take down Dak Prescott. He broke his tibia. He was carded for the game. He's out for the season. Had
Mhm.
successful surgery, so I'm praying for a strong recovery. Hopefully, you come back. But I think it's a huge blow for that Lions defense. Big time.
Yeah,
This.
the worst part about his injury was it was just a normal. It was like it's not like his leg got caught underneath another
It was a freak accident, right?
person and got tackled. Yeah, no, it literally his leg was calf blocked by another Lions defensive lineman. His leg collided with another defensive lineman, just like how in MMA you'll have like calf blocks, right?
Yeah.
And there's that one. I think Chael Sonnen gave a calf block to what's his name? Silva, Anderson
Oh no no
Silva.
no no no! It was I remember that fight because I mean it still scars from my memory. Anderson Silva tries to leg kick Chris Weidman.
There we
Weidman
go, Chris
raises
Weidman.
checks it with his leg and
Yeah,
it just snaps Silva's leg.
exactly. So something similar to that happened, but this time, like you said, accidentally. So yeah, horrible,
And
horrible injury.
I'm praying for that. And I know like if the Lions are looking for a pass rusher for the defensive end, I know one person that I think they can definitely get. I say, and I'm gonna
Reddick.
beat the dole on this one. They have to make the trade to get Hassan Reddick.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to win now, you try and get Reddick.
Yeah. I mean, this team is Super Bowl caliber.
Yeah.
They're probably the best team out of the NFC, maybe the second best team behind the Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
So I will leave you off with a good note.
Yes.
Did you know that the Cowboys scored as many points as the number of times the Lions scored? The Lions had
Oh,
9 scoring drives.
I didn't think they punted at all.
They did not punt a single time, and the Cowboys had 9 points total. This was on Stephen A. Stephen A. Smith mentioned this on First Take.
Oh, baby.
Oh man, glorious stuff to watch.
And by the way, do you want to know the aftermath of this? I believe this is in Dallas. He had a sit-down interview with
Oh my
105 points.
God, yes.
Tell him about it, man. I think you know more about this.
Yeah, so basically, his weekly radio show with 105.3 The Fan, here a local radio show for Cowboys Nation in Dallas Fort Worth. They were basically grilling Jerry Jones about a potential change, if he's going to make a potential change at the head coaching position after this ridiculous loss. And Jerry Jones was like, are you stupid? Do I tell you how to question? If so, if you continue to ask these type of questions, I will find somebody else to ask questions to me. Like, he was threatening the radio show's co-host's job because the guy was legitimately asking accurate questions to Jerry Jones. That's how egotistical Jerry Jones has become, that he's literally incapable of hearing criticism.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why the Cowboys will fail until Jerry Jones dies. But yeah, that was the whole thing. Threatening a man's livelihood because you're afraid of answering the right questions.
You could have lied like Nick Sirianni, man.
Or you could have just told the truth. You could have said, I'm not looking at it right now, but it's something on my mind.
Try go with the fall.
Yeah. Alrighty. That's going to be it for us in terms of our specific games. Now we're going to move on to the best segment that we have come up with. The Punch Minute segment.
Punch
Minute recap.
Punch. Let's go.
AFC, what happened there? Jags, Bears in London. Bears win 35, Jags 16. And there's an old nursery rhyme that we all love from the old Great Britain. London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, taking the Jaguars with them. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard it. I heard that part. But oh my God.
Utter domination. And Doug Peterson wants a culture change. He's the cancer. Get him out.
Him and
Trent Baalke.
And Baalke. Shad Khan and Tony Khan, instead of focusing on AEW and Fulham FC, you got to focus on the Jags, man.
I would love to see Ben Johnson work with Trevor Lawrence.
I'd like to see Ben Johnson work with the Eagles, man.
No.
Anything to get away from North Korea and Nick Sirianni would be great.
But also Jags, during this game, they dropped 4 touchdown passes. The wide receivers dropped 4 touchdown passes. And people are like, oh, Trevor Lawrence sucks.
It's not his fault.
The Jaguars literally lead the league in the past 2-3 years in terms of drop touchdown passes. It's insane. Anyways.
Madness.
Colts, Titans. Colts win 20-17. Another Levis game. Another Mayo Man meme has been born. Now with a Spider-Man cosplay. He was shooting webs after his touchdown celebration. But at the end of the day, Flacco just wins as he usually does. And the Colts win 20-17. We don't know about Levis other than creating his meme potential.
Mayo meme.
Mayo meme. Another one. Let's see next week. All right, next game. Texans versus Patriots. Texans win 41-21. But did you see Drake May? Nice outing. This is exactly what they expected. Like, he exceeded expectations. They just wanted him to survive, but he exceeded expectations as a rookie, even with his ups and downs. But seriously, the Patriots need to thank that he ain't Mac Jones, because Mac would have died behind this offensive line.
Oh, yeah.
And Drake May has more touchdown passes in one game than Jacoby Brissett has in 5. So clearly the right answer, especially against the Texans defense, which is one of the most ferocious defenses in this league, especially against bad offensive lines. Their pressure rate is 4th in the entire, top 5, and their adjusted sack rate is 4th, as I'll explain in a little bit. And they will eat up bad offensive linemen for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So good job on Drake May to recover from the start of the game. Now, Chargers, Broncos. Chargers win 23-16. To believe is to hallucinate.
Did Bo Nix become Mo Picks? Code
again. Beaten by a better team, and now the situation gets worse for Broncos, unfortunately. Pat Surtain out with a concussion.
Ooh. And wait, so is that how many new worst game is this?
New to the power of 28. Yeah. But anyways, it's a massive blow to the Broncos' chances of what exactly?
Yeah.
Winning the AFC West? That ain't happening.
Be competitive.
Yeah. All right, last game. Steelers versus Raiders. Steelers win 32-13. How?
It was so It was
How
so-
can the Steelers change to Russell Wilson if Justin Fields has 10 total touchdowns and 1 interception in these 5 games?
Oh my god.
He was efficient. He was more than capable of leading the Steelers to victory. And now they have to die by the hands of Mr. Unlimited. The only thing that Russ has that's unlimited is meme potential. When he inevitably crashes and burns and gets traded for a 7th round pick to the Cowboys.
Anand, hurry up. Hurry up.
I'm done. I'm done. Time's up.
All right, good. Because I'm no, but like adding on to that Steelers and Raiders game, I don't forgot how many turnovers I saw and that high end talent.
Unbelievable, man.
All right, to the AFC, the Whiners 36 versus the Sea Chickens 24. No one in the NFC West actually wins. I mean, the Niners had like a 23-7, 23-3 lead.
Mm-hmm.
Seahawks slightly come back, but then Geno Smith throws a horrible pick, but then somehow gets it close, and then all of a sudden, Demo Samuels breaks loose. He finally had himself like 100 receiving yard game and a touchdown. And Jordan Mason, well, good game. And of course, everyone cheered for Kyle Juszczyk and George Kittle getting a touchdown and then kissing their wives. Leave the PDA back at the house. I'm joking. And now, Bucks versus Saints. Points galore. Bucks win 51-27. It was wild. Baker Mayfield had 3 interceptions, but threw 4 touchdowns. They just exploded in the second half. Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed got hurt. Spencer Rattler, good luck, man. You have no receivers to help you out.
It was crazy. It was like 17-0 Bucks, then 27-17 Saints, and then 51-27.
It looked insane. Yeah. And then the Commanders versus the Ravens. The Battle of Maryland.
The DMV.
Battle of the DMV. I like that better. Commanders 23, Ravens 30. Jaden Daniels. He played his ass off.
He is exactly what people have billed him. In fact, probably more, because nobody expected the Commanders to be this good, and nobody expected them to go pound for pound against the Ravens.
But I think, honestly, at the end, it was the Ravens' run game by Derrick Henry, 132 yards of rushing and 2 touchdowns, along with Lamar Jackson, a touchdown pass, and Zay Flowers, 9 for 9, baby, and 132 yards. Commanders, that's why I'm like a little bit suspect on the Commanders, but they fought their asses off. So
Mark Andrews finally got a catch.
He finally got a catch. He got a touchdown.
Yeah.
But yeah, Falcons versus Panthers. Do I have to talk about this game, Anand? Do I really have to talk about this game?
Yes.
I mean, Kirk
Andy
Cousins did the bare minimum, 19 for 30, 225 yards, 1 touchdown. Andy Dalton, 2 for 2, 2 touchdowns, 2 INTs. Panthers thought they had a lead, but nope, they squandered it. I mean, I don't know what else I could say except for like Tyler Algier having himself a strong running game over Bijan Robinson, I believe. Tyler Algier had 105 rushing yards. Bijan had 95. But Bijan had 2 touchdowns. So if you had Bijan on your fantasy, yay for you. And Bungles versus the Giants. Oh my God. I think there was one point that Tom Grossi had a punt counter. He added a punt counter. I don't know what it is. And I honestly think this is a nominee for the greatest game ever. For your name tree. I'm looking at this.
Punts.
8 punts. Jeez. And who knew Joe Burrow could run? I think he's RB1. And Bengals defense actually did something against the Giants, even though the Giants didn't have Malik Neighbors. And Giants are playing some tough football for sure. I mean, they get to Joe Burrow 4 times. And I mean, like, credit to Tyler Newman and oh man, the acquisition to get Brian Burns well done. And I'm going to be talking more about this. And of course, he did suffer an injury loss. Andrew Thomas, he's going to be out for the year, left tackle. And I think it's all Trey Hendrickson and and I think like this kid Tyrone Tracy and Eric Gray, the two running backs for the Giants, they had themselves some pretty nice games and some design runs to stop the Bengals blitz attacks. But yeah, Bengals win at the end, 17-7, made fewer mistakes, and Chase Brown actually had a little bit more snaps, and he was able to show what he was able to do.
All righty. Well, that concludes our Punch Minute segment. And now we're going to move on to our Masala moment of the week.
Oh, baby. What do we got?
There's only one. It's Aaron Rodgers' Hail Mary. I mean, he's done it again.
Oh, 100%.
He's done it again.
You must be a moron if you thought something else. But although I do have a contender, it's not going to be close enough.
We'll see.
Here we go.
Just
up into the air,
deep
into the end zone.
It's just like, it's perfect. It is perfect. I mean, the ball squirts out at the end, and one of the official rules it an incomplete pass, and the other rules it
complete.
Very much akin to the Hail Mary against the Seahawks.
Lazard had a shot.
This time they ruled correctly.
And now the other official saying touchdown.
A touchdown.
One said incomplete, the other says touchdown.
Just look at this throw again. All right. He's just facing a two-man pressure because genius Sean McDermott, sent a two-man pressure on a Hail Mary attempt. Good job, bro. Good job. This is exactly
what prevent defense. It doesn't work.
Yeah, you got to blitz him. He's a 40-year-old guy behind a weak sauce offensive line. Blitz him and get him on the ground. Why are you giving him time? He gets ample amount of time, and he launches it from the opposing 43-yard line. And
up into the air, into the end zone.
About like 3 yards into the end zone. So that's 50 plus 7. So that's about a 60-yard throw. And according to, and I was a little bit right, but according to, according to Next Gen Stats, let me pull that link up. Where is it? Yeah. So according to Next Gen Stats, the 52-yard Hail Mary touchdown to Alan Lazard traveled 61.4 yards in the air, longest completion by a Jets quarterback since 2016, and a completion probability of 15.5%. That seems a little too high. All right. A 40-year-old quarterback throwing a Hail Mary to Alan Lazard should be like, 5% or something.
Ooh.
Less than that. But it is 15.5% completion probability. And just look at this other angle right here. There we go. So just look at this sideline angle of this throw. Can't see the ball until it rocks down into Aaron Lazard's hand. And you see that the field gets like so good. Yeah. It's incredible. It's the fourth time that he's thrown a Hail Mary to a touchdown, fifth time that he's thrown a Hail Mary successfully. The first time was against Detroit, the Motown Miracle in 2013. The next time was 2016 versus the Giants at home in the wild card playoffs at the end of the first half. Then was 2014, I think. And then 2015 was the two Hail Marys against the Cardinals in the wild card to get into overtime. And then the whole Larry Fitzgerald thing happened. But the first one was to Jeff Janis. And I remember this because I was doing Sangeet class with my teacher who lived in India at that time. So it was like 5 a.m. for her. And it was the peak of the game. And I was like running out of my room to watch those plays. And yeah, it's nobody like him. Hail Mary King.
Nice. My Masala moment of the week has to be this one play between the Bucks 51 burger against the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
This is Baker Mayfield. He's under the center. 2 wide receivers left, 1 on the right. Hikes the ball. I think number 14 is in motion.
Godwin runs into motion. Yeah.
Godwin's in motion. Hands it off. Watch Godwin. Breaks 1, not 2, not 3.
Oh, right.
Boom. Just runs it deep 55 yards. How do you miss tackles?
This was in New Orleans.
The Superdome, baby. He's in motion. Beautiful route. Probably like a hitch. Breaks 1. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Terrible tackling.
What the
I
hell?
think Tom Grossi mentioned this in his recap. They had 16 missed tackles, the Saints defense. Or it was Tom Grossi or Mina Kimes. 16 missed tackles in this game. That's why. That's why that happened.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
That's all.
Alrighty. Let's quickly recap. Let's quickly preview our games of the week for week 7 and our games as well. All right. Packers are facing the Texans, aka the Strouds. Strouds. All right. So it's just utterly disgraceful that the NFL still hasn't moved this game to a primetime slot. It's still at the 1 p.m. slot. I mean, come on. This is 2 of the best young quarterbacks in the game. 2 of the best quarterbacks in the game. And since 2023, CJ Stroud leads the league in passing yards per game at 270 yards per game. And Jordan Love leads the league in total touchdowns at 44 touchdowns since 2023. So they are 2 of the best quarterbacks in the game right now, facing off against each other. And the NFL has done the entire league a travesty by not putting this onto a primetime. But it's okay. We'll have our primetime slot in February when the Packers face the Texans in the Super Bowl. Because that's what I predicted at the beginning of the season. That's exactly what's going to happen. Now, for the Packers to win this preview of the Super Bowl, they have to focus on a couple things. 1, run the football. Now, this is not hard because the Packers are already doing this at a very good clip. But the only loss that the Texans had to the Vikings, which was to the Vikings, the Texans were outrushed almost 4-1 or 3-1. The Texans had 38 rushing yards. The Vikings had 118 rushing yards. So clearly the message to beat this Texans defense and offense is to run the football. And the Texans have given up 100 plus rushing yards in 4 out of their 6 games that they've played. The defense. The Packers have only ran for less than 125 yards in 1 game, and that was the loss to the Vikings. Every other game has been greater than 125 yards. Now, Josh Jacobs is a top 5 running back in terms of yards and top 10 in terms of first downs gained. And that's specifically important because that's what we have to target. We have to target the Texans' early down offense, especially against the run. Let me pull up that stat here. In terms of defense, first down defense, they are, let's see. Yeah. They are 7th in the league. So definitely something that we can target, but also using the short game because they're 12th in the league in terms of dropback EPA per play allowed in first downs, first and second downs. So in early downs, get the ball out quickly, run the football, and keep the Texans defense on their toes and the pass rush away from Jordan Love. That's my second biggest thing. Protect Jordan Love at all costs because he's coming off of injuries and he looked good against the Cardinals, but the Cardinals don't really have a good pass rush, right? The Texans have one of the best pass rushes in the entire league. Pretty much the most important battle is going to be the Packers offensive line against the Texans defensive line because the O-line for the Packers is near the top in every single category. Pass block win rate, pressures allowed, sacks allowed, etc. But the Texans are fourth in adjusted sack rate and top 5 in pressure rate, forced, and pass rate. So this is clearly going to be the biggest battle for the Packers to win. So they have to win in the trenches. And if they win in the trenches, then I think that they can win this football game. They don't have to do too many complicated things, but this battle is going to control this game. If the Packers offensive line gets manhandled by the Texans defensive line like it kind of did versus the Vikings, it's going to be a long, long day for the Packers fans, especially in Lambeau Field. Now, the Texans can win if they use the quick game and screen passes. And the reason why I said quick game and screen passes is because the Packers have the 6th highest DVOA when throwing short or less than 10 yards. So clearly this is going to aid the Texans in terms of screen passes to Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs, their tight ends, their running backs, quick outs, slants, crossers, shallow digs, all of these, in-breakers, and all of these short routes that Tank Dell is really good at, Stephon Diggs is good at, they're going to be benefited highly if the Texans can utilize this in a very effective and efficient manner. And the Packers defense is the perfect defense to try this against. Now, the thing is, if the Texans are not successful on early downs, which they aren't typically, they will lose because they cannot get stuck in third downs. The Packers are top 5 in EPA per rush and EPA per pass on third and fourth downs or money downs, but 31st EPA per pass on first and second downs. So the Texans have to be in front of the chains. That's what they tell. Why? Because the Packers' third down defense is one of the best defenses in the entire league. Jeff Hafley locks it down, gets blitzes, gets pressures, and they just knock you over. They will not allow you to continue. And that's exactly what happened against the Cardinals. The Cardinals got into a lot of third down situations. They just could not continue drives. So if the Texans get stuck in third downs, that's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to lose out on scoring opportunities, and the Packers offense is going to take advantage of that and score quickly. Now, related to not getting stuck on third downs, the Texans offense has to improve on early downs. They're both bottom 5 in EPA per pass and EPA per rush. So this is the chance for the Texans offense to be good in the early downs. If they're not, they will lose. So it's pretty simple. For the Packers to win, protect Jordan Love, win the trenches battle, and run the football. For the Texans, don't get stuck on third downs because you will lose. Use the quick game, use short passes, use screen passes, use the running game, use your running backs and tight ends and your wide receivers and screens and other short routes to keep the sticks moving. So don't really try too many deep passes because A, you don't have Nico Collins. B, you're going to have to face Xavier McKinney. And C, you're going to have to face Evan Williams. So you are not going to be deep you're not going to be able to beat the deep safeties that the Packers have. Best safety duo in the entire league. So my advice for the Texans, if they have to win, focus on short passes. Get a good rhythm going for CJ Stroud. Then you can try and take your deep shots. Now, I think that this is a toss-up because both of these teams are really, really good and pretty well balanced. But I'm going to give the edge to the Packers. It's at home. Love is playing much better. And the Texans don't have Nico Collins. If the Texans had Nico Collins, I think this would have been a Texans victory. But I think the Packers are just catching their drift at the right time. And the Texans just don't have. They just lost their most important resource at the wrong time.
I can imagine.
That's it.
I know the feeling too well.
Mm-hmm.
Days without not having AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, not fun.
Yep. All right.
And with that being said, for the Eagles, welcome to the NFC East right now. This is Giants week. They will be playing at the MetLife Stadium at 1 p.m. The road to the NFC East officially begins. You're facing off against an up and down Giants team. And two ways, let's look at those. Eagles offense against the Giants defense. Welcome back, Saquon Barkley. This could be that so-called revenge game, but knowing North Korea, Nick Sirianni, and his Pyongyang offensive play calling abilities. I mean, this is the part where this Giants defense is no pushover. If you saw what they did against the Cincinnati Bengals, yeah, they lead the league in sacks with 26 sacks, and they were playing with that Kayvon Thibodeau. And in that one game, I mean, like if you look at the Bengals versus Giants game, Joe Burrow was under pressure on 40% of his dropbacks, according to PFF. Giants blitzed on 17.1% of these pressure packages. Burrow on 14 dropbacks, was under pressure, completed 3 of 9 pass attempts for 45 yards, no scores, sacked 4 times as a result. And I think and again, credit to Shane Bowen, the new defensive coordinator, and executing ways of disguising disguising pressures and blitzes. And of course, so far the Giants have, and speaking of blitzes, the Giants have blitzed opposing quarterbacks 24.6% of the time, 11th in the NFL, and their blitz success rate is 21%. They've converted 55.3% of their total pressures, 47 into sacks, which is 26th. 26 sacks. They are able to win on one-on-ones. They're able to win on pressure. So this is a big test for this banged-up Eagles offensive line because right now, Jordan Mailata, although he gave up 0 pressures, he is out with that hamstring injury. And it will be Fred Johnson to go up against the likes of guys of that defensive line, like under Dexter Lawrence, Aziz Ojol. If you want to talk about Dexter Lawrence, Elijah Chapman, Brian Burns, Bobby Okereke, Aziz Ojolari, Micah McFadden, Raheem Nunez-Roches, Elijah Chapman. And it's just the Giants defense has been great. And again, this is an Eagles offensive line that's been allowing 22.5% of sacks, of pressure rates, allowing Jalen Hurts to be sacked at least 2.8 times a game. And if I am Nick Sirianni, you clearly know well that Jordan Mailata is going to be gone. And I'm just trying to think about this issue because Jordan Mailata is out. You're putting in with a substitute in Fred Johnson. You're also dealing with Dallas Goedert being out for the game with an injury with a hamstring. He's questionable, of course. So with that being said, if I am the Eagles, what is the first thing that you need to do to prevent Jalen Hurts from getting hurt in this game?
Run the football.
You have to run the fucking football. You have Saquon Barkley looking for a revenge game. Although he's downplaying it for a bit, you know he wants this game. You damn well know that he wants to light up the Giants for what they did to him in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
And the best way to help your offensive line, running the football, and you don't need to force the big plays. Yes, I get that that you're only facing Drew Phillips, Deontay Banks, Jason Pinnock, Tyler Nubin coming up in this bit, and Nick McLeod. But do not force anything. Like he had a clean turnover game. I want the same thing with Jalen Hurts. If it's a death by 1,000 paper cuts, you have to score on the first drive. Allow your matchups to dominate when you start the run game and you opening up that play action. And I want to see more of that mesh route concept that you ran against a good Browns defense. Hell, this could be, you know what? I could see a game in which imagine Deontay Banks. He may go up, Deontay Banks or Tyler Nubin. They may try and double team against A.J. Brown. Or knowing what Shane Bowen, the defensive coordinator, I don't know what his style of defense is, but if I'm the Eagles, let Kellen Moore run through this offense, please. I know it's going to be slow. I know it's going to be ugly because that's how the Giants have done it. And they are good at getting to the quarterback so far. They have 26 sacks. As I mentioned 100 times again, you have to run the ball. And allow Grant Calcaterra, Jack Stone. Maybe they got CJ Uzoma for this. They got back CJ Uzoma for the practice squad. Maybe they could be activating him for this game. But maybe I would like to see 11 or 12 tight end person, 11 or 12 personnel. But I think this could be a game in which Jahan Dotson could see more snaps because Dallas Goedert's going to be out. And maybe Grant Calcaterra has another game like he did against the Browns. But this guy's that offensive play calling. Jalen Hurts has to release the ball a little bit more quicker because the more that he's taking time, he tends to get into his way. He eats more sacks and he throws more horrible picks.
And this Giants defense has the highest adjusted sack rate at 12%.
Yeah, 12.32 in 12.32% dropbacks.
Yeah,
and if you saw. And if you know why I'm concerned about this, case in example, Bengals versus Giants. It was a pure defensive game. And you have to focus with that run game, allow Saquon Barkley to run, and he will not get hurt. I know with this horrible field that is MetLife, but the only way the Eagles team will lose is because if their offense shoots themselves in the foot. That is for sure. Now, Eagles defense versus Giants offense. There's been a couple of updates. We know that Andrew Thomas, he's going to be out for the season. He is on season-ending IR. Good luck to him. And which is why you might see expected right tackle Jermaine Illuminor to swap over to left tackle for Evan Neal to take over at right tackle. Neal is so bad. He has finished last season with a pass blocking grade of 38.5, according to PFF. This Eagles defense gave up only 9 points, but I mean, and I think and if you're looking at this, if Andrew Thomas is focusing on your left side, this could be a game in which your edges could eat a lot. Maybe Bryce Huff gets something more other than half a sack last game. Maybe this could be a game for Joshua and Brandon Grant to take out more, and especially in that interior. Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. Hell, I like seeing more of Moro Ojomo when getting in. When you add it, and I would still keep Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean as your starting corners because we do have some updates. Malik Neighbors did have some practice time, and he'll be coming back from his concussion. And so with Malik Neighbors coming in, along with Darius Slayton, who had some good moments, Wandale Robinson and Jalen Hyatt. I still like my chances with the Eagles rookie corners because, I mean, they balled out well. They did their best against Amari Cooper and Jerry Jeudy. If they can hold them on their own, I think they can manage this team easily. And speaking of my boy, Quinyon Mitchell, did you know he's the number 24th corner in the league, and he's third in the odds to win Defensive Rookie of the Year at plus 750, by the way. I got this from Sports Illustrated, but I'm betting.
Yes, sir.
But I would like to. I think it's going to be him versus Malik Neighbors if you want the best matchup. Darius Slay being day-to-day, keep him on the bench for now. I'd like to see the Rooks go. And if you want Keely Ringo, I would put him against Darius Slayton. The best way for Ringo to work out, because he's a little bit better bot. If he wants to he's more physical when he's in press man. Watch his tape in Georgia. He does have recovery speed, and so does Quinyon Mitchell. And Cooper DeJean, keep him as the starting nickel because the Giants have that other secret weapon in Theo Johnson, their rookie tight end from Penn State. So far, he's had 11 receptions for 115 yards. He did have some good looks against the Bengals. 3 targets, 3 receptions for 30 yards. Although he did, although it's not that like exciting, he does show that potential, which is why it's like you cannot take this offense lightly, Daniel. And because knowing Brian Dable and Devin Singletary coming back, they could mix up that Hydra rushing attack. Tyron Tracy looked really good. Eric Gray was effective at some cases. Devin Singletary coming back in. You could see a lot of running options in which like the Eagles will try and bring in a 5-man front, and then they'll say, "Oh, instead, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna open the play action pass so that see how you can beat it with that." So it is essential that they stop the run early, and the Eagles defensive line has to dial up pressure. If you look what Daniel Jones did against the Seahawks. For example, he was able to mix up the game. Dable was able to mix up the game plan, forced to go easy outlets to the flats, back screens, hot routes, etc. Vic Fangio, you cannot play soft zone. The defensive line has to hit home. You can get to Brandon. You can easily get to Daniel Jones and his abilities to run because Andrew Thomas is out. Get Brandon Graham in. Hell, I want to see Jalex Hunt and Nolan Smith get some pressure set in. Hell, I liked it, the fact that when you had Cooper DeJean come in, and please do not interfere with Quinyon Mitchell's ability because I want him to get a pick, and if he doesn't return to for pick 6,
he deserved it. He deserves it.
And CJ Gardner-Johnson, don't get in this way, please. And tackle, damn it. And I mean, this is going to be also a big test for the linebackers, especially with Nakobe Dean and Zach Bond. Nakobe Dean missed some bad tackles. So this could be a game in which we could see Jeremiah Trotter Jr. We could see him coming as one of those edge players. And if Bryce Huff has a breakout game, who knows? I've seen it all. But it's going to be a very, very tight game. And knowing this Eagles offense and how ineptitude they can be along with this defense, sometimes they'll play light to their opponent strategies and all that. But I'm going to say the Eagles will win this game 21-17. They're going to give me heart attacks galore. We're going to be seeing Pyongyang offense in New York City for some time, and it's going to be annoying as hell.
We'll see. All righty. Last but not least, our Masala games of the week. I'll get started with mine. I'm taking, unfortunately, an NFC North rivalry game. Lions versus Vikings. Please be a tie. 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 Please.
You are not sparing anything at all.
Two of the best teams with the 2 highest point differentials face off, man. I don't know what to do other than hope for a tie, because either it's going to be a close game or it's going to be a blowout from one side or the other. And to me, I just don't see how the Vikings can outscore the Lions, because from a offensive standpoint, the Lions on early downs are first in EPA per play in the first half, whereas Minnesota seventh, which means Lions score early and often and efficiently and explosively, right? So they're the best team at scoring points in the first half. And they're the most explosive ones to do it. Minnesota's only the seventh best. On money downs, second highest EPA per rush, which means they're really, really good in the run game on third and fourth downs, right? Which is what we saw against the Cowboys, except they didn't have to go to third down because the Cowboys defense was that trash. Fourth most points per game versus the 16th for the Vikings, and fifth, and this is the key part, fifth in terms of turnover percentage versus 25th for the Vikings in terms of turnover percentage, which is not good at all. If you want offensive drives to sustain, you need to not turn over the ball so often. However, the Vikings can target the weak money down offense that the Lions have, whereas the Vikings are third in money down in terms of EPA per play. Why? Because Brian Flores is a psychotic demon when it comes to blitzing and disguising blitzes and simulating pressures. It's insane, man. Have you seen some of those third down blitz packages that he rolls out? It's like two people are actual down linemen, and you have like linebackers coming down, and they suddenly rush, but then two of them peel, like two different players peel off, and it turns out like a 6-man pressure, a 2-man pressure was turned into a 6-man pressure, then it was turned back into a 4-man pressure. Like, it's insane. It's insane what he does on third and fourth down, especially what he does on second down. I think last week or 2 weeks ago, Brett Coleman had mentioned that the Vikings, the Brian Flores calls blitzes 60% of the time on second down, 60% of the time. So just doing that simple math is the reason why the Vikings third down, money down EPA per play metric is third best in the league. And if they, just like how the Packers are really good at third down defense and money down defense, the Vikings are. If the Vikings can get the Lions to third and fourth downs, then they can prevent the Lions from outscoring them. And that's how the Vikings can win. Right? Just like how the Packers would want to tamp down the Texans' offense, the Vikings have to tamp down the Lions' offense. Otherwise, the Lions are going to run roughshod on the Vikings. So it's a simple math for the Vikings. Get the Lions down to money down, so third down and fourth down, preferably long ones, and keep Sam Darnold from turning over the football. The Vikings, so the Lions defense, and the way to help Sam Darnold from turning over the football is to target Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is likely to be healthy. He's listed as questionable in the latest injury report. So he's likely to be starting. And if he is starting, then he is the guy to target, because the Lions defense is 16th in DVOA versus running backs in terms of the passing game. So if Aaron Jones is healthy, he's the critical one. Otherwise, it's Cam Akers' time. And I think that this is a matchup that Kevin O'Connell is going to take massive advantage of, because if he can keep Aaron Jones active and healthy and involved in the game plan as much as possible, it'll keep Sam Darnold clean. It'll keep Sam Darnold from turning over the football like he has done in multiple times in the second half, and it'll allow the Vikings to keep the Lions offense off the field, because they can keep converting downs, keep converting first downs into first downs into first downs, and potentially into scores. So the simple math for the Vikings, again, on defensive side, get the Lions down to third and fourth downs, preferably long ones, by, pressuring Jared Goff early and often, which Minnesota is obviously going to do. and running a lot of forcing Jared Goff to make quick and easy throws, right? So that you can rally and tackle and keep the Lions in front of you. So do that. Keep Sam Darnold from turning over the football by targeting Aaron Jones. That's the matchup that you're going to have to use. And this is going to be even better for the Vikings, unfortunately, because there is no Hutchinson, right? The terrible news of Hutchinson getting his leg obliterated, which means the pass rush is going to be limited from the Lions. Aiden Hutchinson was number 1 in pressure rate, sacks, sack rate, pass rush win rate, and like a bunch of other metrics. So he was their pass rush. So that means if there's no Hutch, there's likely not going to be a lot of pass rush. That's going to help the Vikings even more. But if there is, they need to target Aaron Jones. Now, the Lions have to pressure Darnold. Like that is the way for them to win this, especially in the second half. You look at how he played versus the Packers in the second half, right? Only 3 points scored in the second half versus the Packers. So it's going to be tough, but it's James Houston time. You know, it's the other players. It's Aleem McNeil who just got a contract upgrade, right? A contract extension. It's their time to shine for the Lions. And I think that, you know, Dan Campbell's going to make every effort. Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn are going to make every effort to get that done, but it is their time to shine now. Now, if the Lions offense can keep it close against this stingy Minnesota defense, then they can close it out in the second half, because the Vikings are only 16th in EPA per play in second half. Here's why. Sam Darnold is the issue. He's 26th in adjusted EPA per play and 20th in success rate in the second half. Why? Because more often than not, he is pressured in the second half. He will make mistakes in the second half. He wouldn't have enough answers in the second half. And he would also have to play from behind in the second half. Now, eventually, they have won, right? So they are 5-0. But if the Lions want to win, they obviously they want to win. But if the Lions have to win, then they have to pressure Sam Darnold and keep it close in the first half. At the end of the first half, they can't be more than, 7 points away, because then the Vikings are just going to keep dialing blitzes upon blitzes upon blitzes upon blitzes in the second half, and the Vikings can just run out the clock. Right? So I think that the Lions win because they have a more consistent offense, and I believe in Jared Goff more than I believe in Sam Darnold. But I think it's going to be very close. I think it's 27-24 Lions. I could see it go either way.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's going to be a blow up, because both defenses are really, really good.
I can see that.
Yeah. So that's it from my side.
So my Masala game of the week, Chiefs versus Niners. It's a rematch of the Super Bowl of one undefeated team and one very shaky team. You know which ones I'm referring to. So let's break it down. Chiefs offense versus the Niners defense. You thought it's going to be, Super Bowl MVP, Pat Mahomes. He's going to do it all and run away with this son of a bitch. But hell no. Not having a great season so far. 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions.
I mean, he's tied with Jalen Hurts and Will Levis for interceptions.
I mean, someone look at that right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, and unfortunately, they're going to be a bit damaged because they're going to be without Rashid Rice nor Isaiah Pacheco for this game. And looking at their current updated roster, Mike Danner, the defensive end, did not practice, but Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Mecole Hardman, and Derek Nnadi will be returning. They did have full practices. But this could be the game in which they will have to rely on Kareem Hunt. And that combination of what they did the last couple of games when Isaiah Pacheco went out, they relied on a combination of Kareem Hunt, Samaje Perine, that other rookie Carson Steele, and yes, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is coming back. With Kareem Hunt so far, in his last game against the Saints, he did have 100 rushing yards, 1 touchdown. It was more like nitpicking, like how do I put it? Like almost like 4.2 yards per average.
Mhm.
And I think like he'll be seeing a lot more snaps, but this is a Niners defense that, yes, you are going to be a bit limited. Yes, you don't have Javon Hargrave. You don't have Curtis Robinson. You do not have Talanoa Hufanga.
Mhm.
But they're still effective with Leonard Floyd, Malik Collins, Jordan Elliott, and Nick Bosa. Of course, that linebacker and of course, the linebacker group with Devondre Campbell, Fred Warner, and Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles. But guess what? No Rashee Rice. This could be one of those games in which Travis Kelce, the last 2 games when Rice wasn't playing, Travis Kelce is now averaging 79.5 receiving yards per game, 16 out of 19 receptions last 2 games. However, this is Fred Warner he'll be matched up against. Fred Warner is only allowed a 72.7 QB rating when targeted in coverage, which is like 3rd in the league, I believe, on linebackers. But Fred Warner, he can cover side to side, and he has great recovery speed, and he can fucking tackle. Just correct me up on that stat. And I mean, if you saw what Diamador Lenore did against DK Metcalf, shutting him down, I would not be surprised if he matches up. And here's a matchup which I think could be very fun to watch. Hear me out. Diamador Lenore may want to go up against Xavier Worthy. I think that's going to be the matchup to see. But then again, knowing Mike, oh my goodness, I forget who the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs is, but knowing Andy Reid mainly, he's going to be using a lot of disguises and jet sweeps, especially with Sky Moore, Juju Smith, Miko Hardman. It's going to be the same bullshit that we see on the Chiefs offense. There'll be like, it's almost like the same like jet sweep motions that they've done with Miko Hardman. And hell, with MBS being released, they could pretty much sign him back into this Chiefs roster and say, God help us all. It's so goddamn stupid, man. They keep getting away with this. What else can I talk about this Chiefs offense and this Niners defense? I mean, if I'm the Niners, you have to get pressure on Mahomes and try and tackle him. I'm looking at Nick Bosa big time. Because if there's one weak sauce I could look at, there is on the Kansas City Chiefs, I believe it was Kingsley Suimada. He's been penalized heavily. Let's see. False starts, holding, any penalty, you name it. But I think like this could be a game in which like Mahomes may have to create some magic on his own. And let's move on from there. Chiefs defense versus the Niners offense. This, my friend, gets interesting. No CMC, but you got a rising star in Jordan Mason, but he is not 100% at the moment. And this is a Chiefs defense that is known to shut down effective run games. I mean, you look at George Karlaftis and Derek Nottie at the edges. Excellent attacking from the sides. And of course, Chris Jones, who I believe defensive MVP of this Chiefs defense. He's the captain. He's like that one meme from
I'm the captain now.
I'm the captain. Look at me. I'm the captain now. This is literally Chris Jones. I mean, if you look at it so far, 4 solo tackles, 3 sacks, 1 forced fumble. Yes, not that much, but his pressure rate, I don't even want to know the stat because it is ridiculous. And Jordan, and I think like this is going up against Jordan Mason, who is right now, he's second in the league for rushing yards. 114 carries, 609 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. He's averaging 5.3, but this is a Chiefs defense which is very notorious and like stopping the run. Like they're effective against the run big time.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how much of this Kyle Shanahan offense is that you're going to run. Yes, Deebo Samuel, he's questionable. Ricky Pearsall is making somewhat of a full practice. So you could be seeing Deebo Samuel, Ricky Pearsall, Chris Conley, Brandon Ayuk, and Jawan Jennings. But then again, you're going up against a Chiefs secondary, which is, of course, 20th. But knowing Steve Spagnuolo, 49ers QB, like, yeah, let's talk
He's
about
going to dial up the blitz.
he's going to raise it. But yes, I could say this. The 49ers, like, although like Purdy has not been posting at like MVP caliber stats,
Mm-hmm.
he's against the blitz. His QB rating is 86.6. Non-blitz, 108.1 QB rating. Touchdown to interception against the blitz, 4.6% touchdown, 4.6% interceptions, 63.1% completion, 3.8% turnover-worthy play rate. Compared to not being blitzed, 108.1 rating, 5% touchdowns compared to 0.8% interceptions, 67% completion, 0.7 turnover-worthy play rate percentages. But this is a Chiefs defense that has given up a lot of receiving yards to tight ends. For example, Isaiah Likely. And the Chiefs pass defense, they're 20th ranked.
Mm-hmm.
But when they dial up that pressure, this is where Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson they're glue. They will stick to you no matter what, and they are excellent playmakers. Brian Cook, Justin Reed, and Jaden Hicks have been playing excellent so far.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to be tough again for Kyle Shanahan because I don't think he's done it yet, but he's never cracked a Steve Spagnuolo off defense. And Steve Spagnuolo knows how to break a Kyle Shanahan type of offense. He's the only one to have done it twice, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Him and Mike McDonald. But even then, Mike McDonald had the Ravens players. He couldn't do it with Seattle.
Yeah. And with Seattle, it's like Geno Smith turned over the ball, and they did not have, and I didn't think Seattle had the personnel to help him out. Yeah, you had a good secondary in Devin Witherspoon, but that's not enough. You needed more.
Yeah.
The Chiefs, they'll have different chess pieces, but they work so damn well together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to be a very tight game, 28-21 Chiefs.
Couldn't have said it better. I agree with you on that.
It's tough. It is very tough, but it's going to happen. They're going to win with some bullshit. Taylor Swift is going to come and cheer for her man, Travis Kelce. It's going to be so effing annoying. And I think, is it a Monday night game? It's a Sunday game. Okay, good. Jason Kelce would not be there.
All righty. Well, that's going to be it for us. If you guys have enjoyed, please leave us a review at one of the 4 podcast platforms that we host our podcast on: Apple, Google, Spotify, and Pocket Cast, or send us an email at nflmasala@gmail.com, spelled as NFL MASALA@gmail.com. Or Rakshak?
You can find us on Twitter / Instagram or X with the same username at NFL MASALA2022. That is all lowercase at NFL MASALA2022. And we're on YouTube, so make sure you like, share, subscribe.
And now we're going to hit you guys with our signature outro. Go Pack Go.
And fly, Eagles, fly. Take care and have a good night.